don't know if you can go into playing evil by playing evil. You know, there has to be a justification for everything you're doing. You have to understand why your character's doing what you're doing to be able to do it. And so I found that really interesting.
You keep everyone in the dark to maintain a balance, and you think you have succeeded until now.
Nice to meet you. Congratulations on a show that I couldn't stop watching, and
Oh, that's awesome.
you're amazing. That's all I have to say before asking the questions I have for you. I love Alfonso. He is one of my favorite directors, and that's mainly because he has a superpower to kind of portray the best and the worst of humankind in different ways. So I wanted to ask you, how does this reflect in Catherine and in this show?
It's a hard question to answer without giving anything away. But I think what's interesting is that when I first read this part, I think when I get a script and I read something, I'm immediately putting myself in the position of the character. And so when I first read Catherine, I make excuses or reasons behind everything she does. I'm not reading her as an evil person. I'm not reading her as a bad person. You know, when she's having an affair or, you know, whatever else she's doing in the story, I'm justifying it. There's a reason behind it. She's lonely, she's bored, she's sad, she's thinking about what her life is or what her life's going to be or what it's going to amount to, what she's going to leave behind. And that's why she does what she does. And so I remember reading the script and people are talking about her as this horrible, horrible person. And I remember thinking, I mean, that's a bit harsh. Like, she's just getting by. And then it wasn't until I watched it that I understood where this evil representation was coming from, this evil judgment was coming from, because she does do some terrible things. And so I think for me it was interesting because I just didn't have that mindset at all when I was filming. I don't know if you can go into playing evil by playing evil. You know, there has to be a justification for everything you're doing. You have to understand why your character's doing what you're doing to be able to do it. And so I found that really interesting.
They say that destiny knocks at the door.
Destiny doesn't knock on any door. It crashes in without permission and grabs you mercilessly by your soul.
I feel like what makes us as audience members feel the way you felt about her is that we get to hear, you know, like we have a narrator there that it's telling us somehow what's going on in her head. Did that help you too to understand the character, or did that came after?
Yeah, it's hugely helpful. I'll always write out an almost inner monologue for what my character's thinking or feeling throughout scenes. And so to have Alfonso's idea of what that is already is such good guidance, so that you can come in already with an idea of what he's looking for and with a similar understanding as him for the character. It's incredibly helpful, actually.
You've not been honest with us. The man turns up here with a book he has written. You harassed him, you threatened him.
He's the one threatening me.
The magic of this show is to discover what actually happened, and that happens, you know, episode through episode. I wanted to ask you, without giving much away, because that's very hard to talk about, when did you discover what happened, and how did that change the perspective you initially had of this character?
I discovered it when I first when I first read all of the episodes. I read them all in one evening, and I think it just made it very clear that I was gonna be that there was gonna be multiple, you know, multiple aspects of this character, multiple narratives, and that I just had to separate them both. So it wasn't, you know, when I was doing when I was doing one narrative, I was doing one, and when I was doing the other, I was doing the other. I wasn't combining them at all. They were very different mindsets. And I often I'll use music or something to click in and out of one and the other, especially if we're doing something on the same day. That's always a very immediate way for me to, you know, listen to a certain song or something and feel like I'm in one headspace, and then another song will put me quite quickly into another. So that was helpful. But I think, yeah, just being able to compartmentalize and separate the.
Thank you so much for
the end.
Thank you so much for your time. I'm definitely gonna watch this show again because I feel I'm gonna find more things. But thank you so much for your time, and congratulations, you're just amazing. I loved it.
Oh, thank you so much. I appreciate it.
The world needs to know who Catherine Ravenscroft really is. The world needs to know the truth.